¿Cómo estás? Me llama Krista, and I'm with the West Bonner Library District here in Priest River, Idaho. If you're wondering why I'm speaking Spanish, it's because today's recipe is desert dip. It's Hispanic in nature, sort of, kind of, written by a teenager who wrote her own cookbook when she was a teenager. So, today's recipe, like I said, is called desert dip. The first thing you need to do is, let's see if I can get this right, lavete las manos. So, go wash your hands, and I'll be here when you get back. Okay, we're back. These are my maracas. This is a beautiful apron that you've seen before, made by our friend at the library, Kathy Edwards. So, without any further ado, we are now, and by the way, I did lavete las manos. Manos? I don't know, I spoke French in high school, so. Okay, so today's recipe is called desert dip. And what it is it's kind of, if you've ever heard of like Texas caviar, it's got some of those ingredients like black beans and some onions and jalapenos and cilantro and that kind of thing. You can change this up just a little bit. The original recipe, who was written by a young lady, she was probably about 20 now, but she wrote this cookbook when she was about 13, and it's called Veggie Teens, and it's a vegetarian cookbook for teenagers, and her name is Elise May. In the comments on Facebook where I post the recipe, I will post a link to her webpage that has some of those recipes in it if you're interested. So it was kind of what I found and I thought looked really good. I thought we'd try it. Most of the prep I did before I started the video. So just to save time, because I don't want to run these videos too long. I don't want you guys getting bored. So I did a lot of the prep. You can see I chopped up the ingredients and things before we did the video. So the first thing we are going to do is we are going to combine all of the ingredients. So, in no particular order, we have 1 can of black beans that have been rinsed and drained. Those go in the bowl. I love doing the prep thing because then you can just pour it in like they do on the fancy TV shows. 1 can of preferably white corn, but you can use whatever you have on hand. Drained can of corn. Okay, got that. This is 2 tomatoes chopped, 2 whole tomatoes chopped. We'll do that. Now, on the original recipe, it calls for red pepper, and I'm not a big fan of red pepper, so I just decided to substitute a little bit of green onion tops, just a little bit. So, we've got that. And then we have chopped jalapeno. It calls for 1. I put in a half, and it's kind of one of those things where you can always make something more spicy, but you can't take the spice out once you put it in. It's very difficult. So I'm starting low and slow, and then if it needs more spice, I can add the other half of the jalapeno later. Okay, this is obviously a no-cook recipe. This is red onion chopped, and this is black olives, a small can of sliced black olives, and I'm gathering all my assemblages here. We'll do that. And then we have cilantro. I was going to see if we could find a sombrero for this recipe, but I couldn't find one. And this is 1 avocado chopped. And you're going to want to be gentle with that, because avocado, you don't want it to get squished. Okay, so we have garlic powder, 1 teaspoon of garlic powder. This is almost like a chunky salsa meets guacamole kind of thing. And then we have a tablespoon of, this is lime juice. I could have used a fresh lime, but, but this is what I had on hand. And that's one of the tricks with cooking. When you don't have something, see what you can substitute. Sometimes you come up with something that's even better because you found a different thing to put in it and it improved the recipe. So the next thing is we're going to gently, because of the avocado, And maybe I should have gone and done the avocado after I'd mixed the rest of it. That might not have been a bad idea. You can also add a little salt and pepper to this to taste if you think it needs it, or you can add a little more lime juice or a little less if you want. But here we go. This is what this looks like, and then you can take this. It makes a pretty good sized batch. The other thing I thought about doing with this recipe actually is putting that in a wrap. Put it in a tortilla, maybe with some turkey or some chicken, and you've got a full-blown meal. So anyway, I would do that in a heartbeat. Let's try this now. And as with most of these recipes, it's the first time I've ever made it or tried it, so. That's really good. Really, really good. All right. So, from the West Bonner Library District, here in scenic Priest River, Idaho, my name, Miyama Krista, and I hope you have a great week, and we'll see you soon. Ole.